We're talking the worst 3 returns on investment with any home improvement or renovation that you're going to do on this episode of KT Confidential, the real estate podcast.
Welcome back to your weekly awkward and hostile conversation on KT Confidential,
the real estate podcast. Are you in a better mood this week?
I am.
Good.
Excellent. Last week I was just miserable. This week I'm feeling great.
And look at you. You're even wearing the same wrinkly sweater.
Same wrinkly sweater. Do you dry that in a dryer or hang it?
No, I dry it
Okay.
on a low, one of those bullshit low settings.
Did it change it at all? I always worry about it. We hang everything.
No, it did the first wash.
Yeah.
Tightened it up a little bit, but actually this was oversized for me. So it's oversized for you.
I know.
too.
I should probably put it in the dryer.
And you have gorilla arms. Why are those long? The sizing
Because I'm
on
stretching
these,
it. I often,
the sizing on all of this is a little bit off.
Yeah, unless you. Well, it will be for some people. It fits me.
Right.
Well, anyways, let's move on. So
Last week,
in last week's episode, we discussed
in
the
episode 273.
best upgrades in the house for ROI. This week,
The worst.
ROI investments. No.
Top 3
Upgrades. Top.
home improvements.
No, bottom 3.
Bottom 3
Bottom 3. I'm going to read my 3 off.
ROI
You read your 3
for
off.
home improvement.
Last time I felt like we rambled on a little bit too much. So this week,
Last week was a little bit boring.
Yeah, maybe. I'm going to tell you my 3. You tell me your 3 and we'll discuss them, okay?
I'd like to hear everybody else's bottom and top 3.
Yes. If you are listening. Well, obviously you're listening. Comment where you think your money is best spent and least well spent when upgrading your home as it relates to return on investment. All right, my top 3.
You mean your bottom 3?
My bottom 3. Window coverings.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah. A roof. I'll elaborate when we get to it.
You need to.
And then the last one is not a specific thing, but it's anything you don't convey value in when you sell. That's what I have written down.
I don't know what the hell that means, so let's start with your first one.
Okay, window coverings. So window coverings are very expensive.
Yeah.
And the range in value or cost is, astronomical. I don't know, people spend as much on window coverings as they do a kitchen. And for the purpose of ROI, and when you go to resell, a house that has the fancy,
Custom draperies.
Yeah. Which are motorized, whatever. Like, you're not getting that money back versus the house that has functional, cheaper versions, maybe just drapes from IKEA. Like, I feel like you lose a lot of that value. Even going from...
I'm going to put an asterisk on all of this because it all depends on the home. If you're selling a $10 million home in
KT
Old
Confidential
Oakville,
asterisk, there's always an asterisk.
Right.
Because, there's a lot of variables. Some houses...
That's what we do on this podcast. We debate.
Right. So some houses, when you get into the higher
Some
end
people
luxury
call it
homes,
awkward.
when you get, or hostile, shout out to, if we can get his name, maybe that'd be good. We can give him a little shout out.
We appreciate the fact that you think we're hostile because we are.
Yes. And did you respond?
Towards each other.
Saying we were like a married couple or something?
Yes.
So the same, it can have the adverse effect. So now we're talking about don't go overboard.
Right. You got a $10 million house with IKEA curtains.
Right. Your money's wasted.
Right.
Like, you need to go to the higher end there.
Yes.
Whereas on the average
We're
home,
talking about an average home.
that's who we're talking to.
Right.
Just be mindful of what you're spending.
You
your
don't
money
need
on.
the fancy stuff because nobody else is putting any value to it.
Right. Even if you're getting, let's say you want California shutters, which I've never been a fan of, but just as an example, you want California
shutters actually suck.
They do.
They look pretty good, but they also block out a lot of light. They're awkward when you open them, especially if you have furniture with them. They're hard to clean.
Airflow in the winter, you're going to get a lot of moisture and mold on your windows.
Don't get
And
California shutters. And I have California shutters throughout most of my house.
So I don't know.
Replaced the California shutters. Did you see the new blinds that we put in the back of the house?
No.
So in the living room and kitchen, big windows. They are, I don't know how long they are.
Blinds?
Yeah. They are 7 feet long by 6 feet high. They're big windows. And they were all nice California shutters.
Yeah.
Couldn't open them because the couch is
in the way.
there, and then the table
they
over
were
there.
broken too, weren't they?
I repaired them, but you know, if somebody pulls on it, like with the kids, pull on it too hard, the thing comes off. Anyways, we replaced it with the zebra blind with motorized. They're motorized, so you click the button and you can stop it at any point. So it's nice because that's where all the sun comes in during the day and then at night.
Right.
And we don't have to move anything. They don't touch anything. It's very nice.
So even with the shutters, though, where I was getting with that is, I imagine, I don't know the price difference, but I would imagine if you go with wood shutters, they come at a premium compared to the vinyl or whatever other material they use. I don't like things like that. I don't think you're getting that value back.
Right.
In most cases. And in most cases, and this goes.
But I hate those cheap wood blinds. You know, like
I have those in one of my, or two of my rooms.
Yeah.
They are cheap. I agree.
I hate them.
Yeah. But this goes back to it was point number 3. But this goes to the point where one of the worst ROIs is anything you don't build value in when you sell.
Right.
Right? Like the vast majority, like 99% of the time, if a house has shutters, it says it has shutters. It doesn't say what kind of shutters.
Right. Doesn't say what material it is.
No. If it has...
Doesn't say if there's any warranty that comes along with it.
How often do you see it say Hunter Douglas window coverings?
Right. Well, you do in our brochures.
Always. And that's my point.
So it's just like buying something on eBay that there's multiple postings, multiple listings of the same product. If you have a product that is properly photographed with a nice description and priced properly, your listing is more likely to sell. It's like selling anything on the planet.
Right.
And with our automotive background, that's what instilled that in us. Because if you look at most car brochures, the back of the brochure is usually
very detailed.
Very, very detailed. Like half of the stuff you're reading, you probably don't even know what it is.
Right. Like even if you have a gas range, we go and elaborate and say with double oven, BTUs 6 burners, model, name, whatever. Like you get specific because that's how you have to build value in these things. So anyways, I think there's a lot of money wasted on window coverings. I do think they're great to have. But
as your neighbor, I thank you.
Yes. Well, your forest back there prevents you from having any visibility. Actually, that's something we didn't talk about in last week's episode. Trees. I think there's a good return on investment with trees.
Yeah, but that's also debatable because Natalie bugs me all the time that, oh yeah, you planted all these things. It's a forest. And she hates it.
Oh, it looks great though, and it's peaceful when you're out there.
She had a friend over who went into the backyard and absolutely loved it.
Right.
And yeah, it's so nice and peaceful, doesn't feel like a new build home or whatever.
Right.
But that's all at,
yes,
kind of like a baby isn't ugly to the parents, but it is to everybody else.
I think the parents know deep down that they have an ugly baby. They just don't want to admit it.
Your kids were cute, so were mine. So
they were, but they're also funny looking. Like Tessa had so much hair, she looked like a troll.
I forgot about that.
Right? She was a cute kid in my eyes. All right. Next, roof. You rolled your eyes, or you were like, what? You raised your eyebrows. Sorry, you didn't roll your eyes. You raised your eyebrow when I said roof. So the range and value for a roof, like, when we're selling houses, especially this time of year, I just thought of another thing now that I'm saying that. But
You're such a squirrel.
No, but related to the subject. I don't think if you're getting a 50-year shingle or a 20-year shingle or a metal roof, or you know what I mean? Like, I don't think in many cases you're getting that value back.
New roof shingles are just new roof shingles.
Yes.
Right. When you're selling.
In most cases.
Yeah.
Again, asterisks, there's always exceptions.
Okay. So if you're getting, like if the roofer sells you instead of this 15, 20, or they're all 20-year shingles now?
I think that's average, pretty common.
Yeah.
Or maybe minimum.
So if you get the 50-year shingle, because they upsell you and they say, oh, yeah, you're going to get this, but you're going to call me back in 12 to 15 years, get the 50-year shingle. Yeah, it's 40% more, but you're saving in the long run. So if you get that, you're saying you're not really getting a return on that.
Correct.
As long as it's just new shingles.
Correct.
If you're selling in the first 5 to 7 years, let's say.
Even 10 years. Like, look at these houses we're selling right now in our neighborhood, which are verging on needing new roofs.
Yes, I'm going to get mine done probably this year.
Me too. We should probably talk about that.
Yeah.
We can get a deal, coordinate it. But
would you want regular roof shingles?
Well, opposed to...
Are you going with the 50-year shingle?
No, I don't care.
Metal?
I'd be open to looking at options, but I don't plan on being there for 50 years.
I didn't plan on being there for 13.
Nor did I. I've lost track of what I was going to say. But my point, what I was going to say is, if you do choose to do something that is better than average, going back to my third point, is make sure you convey the value. So if you do go with the 50-year shingle, include a link to the product in your marketing, whatever. Make sure people know what they're getting.
Right. To maximize the return on your investment, you have to actually sell.
Yes. And then it can have the opposite effect. It can make or break the deal. Like maybe someone's like, my goodness.
We get it. You're talking a lot today. Okay. Well, I'll go to my 3. Sorry, I'm just trying to add some hostility to this.
Continue.
Expensive hardware and fixtures.
Hardware being door handles,
even door hinges.
Yes. Oh, I just replaced all of my hinges.
Good story. Light fixtures, you can go you can go crazy on light fixtures, from $100 fixture to thousands of dollars. If you go into a nice lighting store and you see a chandelier, it might be $10,000. But
the one in my foyer was $800, and that was probably more than I needed to spend.
Right. You could have spent $200 and have the same return on investment.
Correct. But you can,
as a percentage. I mean,
my opinion on this has changed over the years. Originally, I was a big fan of include everything. Don't make any exclusions. But now
so if you sold your house now, would you replace that fixture for the purpose of selling? Because you know you won't get that $800 back?
No, I wouldn't. I would just list it as an exclusion if I wanted to keep it. To me, nowadays, I don't feel like, in the beginning or years ago, I felt like that was a deterrent. But now I don't think it is. And I think if you really want to keep something, list it as an exclusion.
I disagree.
And we really need that button.
Yeah.
And it becomes a negotiating point. So then they become so fixated on that.
If any of you listening know where we can order a custom button with a sound bite, kind of like, what's the Staples one?
That was easy.
That was easy. We need a that was easy button that says, I disagree.
Yes.
Can somebody help us source that?
I think we're slowly, after 200 and how many episodes?
70. 73.
We're
74.
Slowly figuring out the format of this podcast.
So expensive hardware and expensive fixtures. So when I say expensive, it's like you're getting the luxe stuff. Again, the asterisk, if you have a luxury home.
How do you say that word?
What?
Asterisk.
When you learn how to say it, then ask me.
That's what I'm asking you. I always wonder. I don't know.
Asterisk.
Sk. Not X.
Not X.
Okay.
It's ASTRISK. TER.
Asterisk.
ISK. I think. Can somebody check the spelling? Asterisk.
And we're still waiting on the name of that guy, Robbie.
Oh, you wanted him to get it during the podcast?
Yes.
I'll give him a shout out in the podcast.
We'll give him a shout out at the end.
Why? Because I think it was it a guy? Anyway,
I don't know.
Carpeting. Yeah. So you know how many times people...
Oh, because they're going to tear it out anyways?
Yeah. So a lot of people replace carpet with carpet.
Yeah.
Or install carpet in basements because they think it's warmer and whatever. Nobody wants carpet anymore. So they're going to rip it out. They're going to put hardwood. They're going to put vinyl. Why are you looking at Robbie?
You got it?
Yeah.
Sure.
It's Ibrahim F2100.
Ibrahim F2100. Thank you for your comment. That's all I wanted to do.
Right.
Carpet.
Good thing it was rated family friendly. Ibrahim. Unlike this podcast, which is hostile.
You've confused me. But carpet. So
his name, his handle.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
It's not like Dickface42.
That's right. Like we have on many of our Reddit reviews
exactly.
that we read.
So carpeting, if you install carpeting, nobody wants it. It's a bad return on your investment because people see it as a cost now to replace it.
Okay.
You don't agree?
I asterisk. I think there's scenarios where it's a good idea.
How were you saying it before?
Asterisks.
X.
Oh. I feel like there are times where it's a good option. Let's say, I'll give you a scenario. You've got carpet everywhere.
Asteerisk. Yeah, so I was right.
So you've got let me think about how to do this. You've got hardwood everywhere except for in the bedrooms, carpeted bedrooms, and it's worn, right? And you're just going to sell. No, you're right.
Thanks. Third one.
But can I just say one thing quickly? If you are replacing carpet with hardwood or laminate, make sure it matches whatever it's butting up to.
Yes.
So
that's the worst.
Match it to the stairs, match it to the adjacent hardwood in the other room. Don't have, big differing colors or materials.
And how many times we see where there's nice hardwood stairs, oak stairs, stained dark, and then on the second floor, there's some cheap natural oak laminate.
Yeah, do it right. That's the biggest thing for this whole conversation. The worst ROI is when you shortcut it and you just make a bad decision.
Sloppy work.
And that goes back to we consult designers.
Yeah.
Consult with somebody who knows what they're talking about.
Sometimes we don't agree, but we get opinions. Last one, when you turn your garage. So last week you talked about adding extra square footage to your home, living space.
Yes.
Inside and outside the house.
Yes.
As a good return.
Yes.
If you do it in the garage, that's
converting that into interior heated space.
Correct. So if
that's
you look,
the worst decision. As
an example, in Milton, there's one specific neighborhood, which is called Dorset Park. If you drive around that neighborhood, why are you laughing?
You just said it funny. You know how you give me a hard time for saying Toronto?
Because it's Toronto.
Right. You emphasize the syllables in Dorset Park. The Dorset. You said Dorset Park.
I did. Which actually I usually don't.
Right.
But maybe that's because of my enunciation for the podcast, where unlike you, I make a viable attempt and a feasible one to not have filler words.
First of all, can we go back and count how many filler words I've used in the last 2 episodes? Because I'm going to tell you one hand.
I call bullshit.
All right.
I'm going to have Tiffany count.
Fine.
That's going to be her job this afternoon.
Okay.
So you convert the garage. Most of them, it's often like the single garage that you can open it up or it already has access to the house. But they convert it into living space and it's no longer
2 things happen.
A garage.
you lose value immediately because it's you have
now no garage,
which is huge, especially in the suburbs and most places, because people need storage and parking.
Well, whatever. There doesn't need to be a reason. A house without a garage is worth less than a house with a garage.
Not only does it lose value immediately, you're not adding any value because the layout and configuration of that room being added to the existing
always
space
an awkward
is
room.
Awkward.
Yep.
And usually you don't do it right, so you're stepping down or whatever. It's just horrible.
And you're going to have potential moisture or mold issues because now you're heating the space. So if you don't seal it off properly with the right materials and
not to mention, what does the front of the house look like now?
And is it to code? Do you have proper electrical to meet code? What about fire ratings, things like that?
Right.
And nobody wants to deal with converting it back, especially if it's a fully finished space now. And you're probably going to spend $10,000 to $15,000 doing it. And you're decreasing the value on an average $1 million home. Probably, how much? Okay, throw that out. $1 million home in Dorset Park.
Okay. Had a garage, now doesn't have a garage?
Yeah, it's like a raised bungalow.
2 identical houses. One has an extra 200 square feet of living space, but doesn't have a garage.
Correct. And the living space is, a little bit awkward.
Correct. I would say.
So the house with the garage is worth $1 million.
30 to 50,000 less.
The house without the garage, but that extra living area is worth 30 to 50 grand less. And we're talking average. So somebody might still pay $1 million for that home.
Yeah, somebody will see value for it, but your pool of
it's like
interested
our
buyers
stinky pet
is
episode.
Yes, there's a lot of different opinions.
Right. If you are a stinky person and have a stinky pet.
Listen, the stinky person doesn't know they're stinky.
That's why there's so many people talking about the stinky people versus the stinky pets.
Okay. So there you have it.
See you next week.
Our list. Ciao.
Bye. What do you think are the worst 3 returns on investment that you can make when doing a renovation or a home improvement? We want to hear it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to KT Confidential, the real estate podcast.